Right. Hello, you wonderful bunch of bastards. I suppose I should start filming my jobs, because they're quite interesting, I suppose, to a lot of people. I find it quite normal myself because obviously I do this day in day out. But I then find that after a day's work, I will go and watch other luthiers do very simple jobs on guitars that I'm totally capable of doing myself. But there's something therapeutic about it, and I've been told that by a few people. So let's give it a blast there. Um, right, so we've got this Les Paul here. We've got an issue with the jack. He says that he's getting what sounds like a ground or signal um, short or ground lift or something like that when he moves the jack a little bit. So we're going to see if we can replicate it. Flick! Where are we? Oh, camera work's going to have to get better than that, isn't it? Doesn't seem to be able. Doesn't seem to be able to replicate it the same in mine. That buzzes these LEDs. See, it is handy for diagnosing things though, because it makes things a lot more prominent. Right, we're gonna have to whip the jack out and have a look and see. So I'll get you set up on tripod. Welcome to your tripod. I'm gonna flip the amp off in a minute as well, just because that buzz is a little bit annoying. Just while I pop these little screw skis out, I'm gonna take the jack out as well, because that's levering quite a lot on not a lot by the time I get half of these screws out. I don't want to rip the last ones out or anything. Pop you over there. Come on, lad. You know, I feel like I'm on a bit of a time limit because I've got a video on, and I'm really not. As I say, the reason I tend to watch luthier work is because it's therapeutic, and I don't care how long someone takes. I quite like when Ted Woodford or someone starts rambling off and tells you something interesting. Not that I believe I've necessarily got anything interesting to say, but each their own, you know what I mean? Right, let's get that jack plug back in and that really annoying sound back on there. Right, I think his ground has been touching the hot. Oh, oh, oh! What was that? What was that? Did I just touch the hot? I think I might have just touched the hot, to be honest. Give me your little tiny hands. You can't be a pair of tiny hands. Nah, that's all good. That's all good. Right, I'm gonna prop you up there so you're not gonna put any pressure on it. Let's whip this back plate off as well. Where are you? And we'll just have a little wiggle of the rest of that wire just to make sure the wire's intact. At this point, I'm fairly certain that what's been happening is there's quite a bit of bare wire there on the ground side. Ooh! Ooh, hello. Oh, that's me. Yeah, that's what I did before. Yeah, there's quite a bit of bare wire on the ground side. It's not the best solder either. That's a terrible connection. Um, but that bare is long enough so that if it's oriented just right and twisted just right, it's gonna touch your hot, which is gonna ground out a signal. Or if it just there we go, if it just grazes it, then it could just introduce some noise. Which is not what you want. So we'll get the rest of these out. thing about filming these is I love to work with music on. And I can't put music on because the YouTube man will tell me off. Big Mr. YouTube. Probably tubes and that. Right, you need to be a bit more stable, please. Stay. Don't like quick connectors. It is. Would you fancy that? Right, so we do have some sort of dodgy connection going on here. Ah, no, that's exactly. There we go. There we go. Hey, if I wasn't me, I would wish I was. Look. Where are we? Where are we? Can you see it? Can you see what it takes to kill the signal? I'm gonna say that's problem solved. That I'm gonna fix that first, and then I'm gonna wiggle everything around. And I guarantee that by the time I fix that, and then I wiggle things, the things will do what the things are supposed to do. Watch. This is not a one-handed operation. We'll get that warming up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to desolder both of those connectors, take the jack completely off. I'm going to retain that because that's awful. I'm going to retain both of them realistically because, yeah, awful. That one's, the positive's not too bad, but why not? Give it a little clean up and whatnot. Make sure that there's not as much of the old ground ski there popping out. I might actually snip that off, bear it back a little bit to get some fresh wire. It depends how messy that actually is. It doesn't look that bad. Nah, I can probably get away with just making sure that that's soldered right in. By the time there's not enough of the ground wire, like it just reaches the tip there. Like it's just not long enough. Or rather, it's soldered too far towards its end. So by the time I move the ground wire all the way down to where it should be, it's not going to have enough free play to be able to touch the hot. I'll also bend this tab back a little bit just to keep it out of the way, and then we should be all dandy like. So I'm just gonna let that soldering iron heat up. Right, I dare say that iron's hot enough now. So let's get this desoldered. Oh, let's put both of them on. Let's do a big boy job there. Oh, let's not. They're a right pain. Have I got any fresh solder to hand? Hang on. It's only a jack. It's got to come from its own. There we go. I usually like to use a little bit of fresh solder when I'm desoldering joints. It helps the heat flow faster, but it doesn't really matter on something like this. It's more important on a pot. You want as fast heat flow as possible on a pot. If I was on with this iron on for that long on a pot, it starts to get a little bit concerning. Whereas on a jack, it don't make no difference. But that's just because there's plastic bits and whatnot in the pot and grease and stuff, and yeah, not everything's happy at those sorts of temperatures, to be honest with you. So, right, we've got that off. I'm going to have to move you again. Or am I? No, I'm not. I'm totally not. I do need to find that solder though, so I'm going to pause you again. Right. Now, I just want to tidy these up a little smidgen. Make sure that there's no little stragglers that are going to cause her any bother. Because as you saw earlier, it's just the tiniest little straggler that you need. Electricity's probably keen, given the right circumstances. It's mad for it. Right, let's get some solder on that jack. I do have to scrub the tip of my iron a little bit because it's a dirty iron. This one, I use this one for fret jobs and all kinds. So don't do as I do, do as I say. And then I'm going to use this pithy little bit of bloody solder that I've found. And I'm going to work a bit on my iron.
was the positive. I had plenty on, but I'm still going to put a little bit more on. And then we're going to go to the negative. And we're going to go zoop, zoop, zoop. Until it zoops, look. And then once it's zooping onto the thing, let it drive it. Make sure you breathe in the fumes as much as possible, you know. Always lift with your back in a jerking, twisting motion too. Flow, mother. Doodle. There we go. I don't know why I'm bothered about swearing. It's not like I'm monetized in the first place. Let's give a little bit more on there just for good measure. Because that was a terrible connection in the first place. Right, let's tin you up a little bit as well. Cheeky little bugger. See, this is where I start to regret using the poor tip on the iron. Is the other side clean enough still? Ooh, yes it is. See the difference? I'm going to move this little jobby. I'm going to tin that a little bit as well. A little bit more. Lovely. Right, now get you back in. Who's what? I always forget these. Alright, there we're gone. Where's my tiny hands? Let's bring tiny hands back, eh? We'll give the tip of this a little scrub and all because it's filthy. That was a pretty dirty solder as well. It's been sat somewhere. Just minging itself up for months, years, I think. That particular piece. Right, tiny hands. And I'm going to put the negative on first. Let's get our warmed back up again. Try not to lock the plastic. Right, let's go a little bit further in than that. I want it really tightly done in because of what was going on. I also want gravity's help here, actually. So I'm going to flip this upside down. Flip this that way up, which might be a bit awkward for the filming. See where I can put you. Nah, there's ways and means around these things. Right, now where was I? Where do I need to be? Right. Give this another little clean up, because, yeah. Keep your solder line tips good, folks. Doing this with them all the time is not fun. Do not do that to try and keep your solder line clean, by the way. That's not what, no, that's how you break them in the first place. But once it's ruined, you can do that to keep using it for dirtier jobs. So, let's roll that back up. There we go. That's a bit better. Oh, see ya. She's not the stablest thing in the world, is she? Get them off so it doesn't burn on. Right. Now we need to reorient for the positive. The positive. I'm gonna grab it by the negative there. That gives me a lovely little view. Have you still got a view? Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. Yeah, you. Right. You melt. You transfer into there. Thank you very much. Now you melt. Do tend to make a little bit of a hash of the fine rubbers with a decent powered soldering iron, but hey ho. Now that ain't interfering. I said I would bend it back as well. Twist it in. Something like that. That's going to help a lot. We're going to clean up this tip as well, because you see this little burr here. That can cause problems. I've seen that become an issue on things before. What do we got? We got some 1500. Yeah, 1500. That'll do. I can unplug the solder line now as well. 1500. Just gonna scuff this up. I want to try and get right into this curve. There we go. Make sure that positive's got a good connection. And then we'll get right into the jar. It's pretty clean, like, but it certainly doesn't hurt to scuff them up a bit. Ooh, right. Little bit of electrical cleaner. Magic stuff. This. However, you really don't want it getting on your finish. It's supposed to be a formula that ensures that it leaves no residue behind, just to mess with your quick drying your residue, which is absolute bollocks. Because it can ruin a finish, this stuff. Sweet. That's all you need. Just a wee bit. I'm going to move the magnifier and the tiny hands. With a clean one. I really don't trust that stuff near a finish. It's alright in your poly, to be fair. It's like I said, that's dangerous, yeah. But it does leave a spattering, even on the poly. So there's definitely a residue. Right. So let's get a hook back up. You've already got a good camera angle. Why not? I'll just zoom you out a little bit. Where is our jack? There he is. Hey, our jack. How you doing, our jack? Oh, I think our jack's doing well. Oh, good lad. Good lad, you've been eating your vegetables. Oh, you're going to grow up proper strong, you. Right, sorted. I've left enough clearance on the old bend of that to be able to get this in to where it needs to be. Your camera to have. Right, get that unplugged and preferably turned off, please, because it's a little bit annoying. I've just lost a poster from the wall too. Sit here. We'll get these in. Well, that's pretty much us done. As far as the actual fault's concerned, I am going to give the rest of the electronics a little clean up too, with said contact cleaner. Have a little look over all of the other solder joints, make sure everything's good. I don't really like that quick connect, but I understand that they're very useful if you don't have soldering apparatus, etc. So I'm going to resist the urge to just pull that out on principle. There everything else looks like it's sound, to be fair.
I'll show you some of that stuff here as well. Right, so we're going to be wanting to give everything a spray with a cleaner, but one of the other things that I wanted to show you was with capacitors, quite often you'll get people tuck caps down in between. They'll tuck them right. Let's just do this freehand. This is going to be easier freehand. They'll tuck caps down in between lugs on pots, and they'll tuck them down to be touching pots and all kinds. And I've seen that in previous instances be able to ground out part of a signal and sort of act as a permanent tone, and act as a permanent volume in different instances when it's been like even just touching the side of a magnetically shielded cavity. So I always make sure that I move any caps so that they're physically not too close to any other materials, and it happens because of electron tunneling, actually, which is a really, really interesting phenomenon if you're that way inclined to have a look at it. But basically, electricity can just magic itself to the other side of something, and it's just a probability as to when it will. Every so often, a little bit will, basically. So you want to just make sure that there's just a little bit of an air gap, basically, between everything. That is possibly not enough, but I'm going to have to get something wee and little down there to get into it. I'm actually going to spin this pot round because I don't like that hot rail is touching the cavity on the outside. You don't want anything to be touching the cavity, because if you can tell, I mean, they always do a terrible, terrible job of it, but that's supposed to be shielded. That's supposed to be conductive paint. That shields this, and it's shielding loads, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's bad to start with, that paint. It's not particularly conductive. Copper tape's the proper way to do it. That's what you want. But anyway, so I'm going to spin that pot round. In doing so, I'll get easier access to that cap to be able to move it to a better position, like I have done with that cap. It's just something to be cognizant of, something to watch out for. And then we're going to give everything a spray, and then we're going to close that back up, and we're going to give her a test and a little clean, and then we're going to go woo. Right, we'll get this pot out. Which one are you? Off thy pop. Well, it doesn't have to come out, actually. It just has to spin around, which I'm not going to be able to show you, unfortunately. But I'm sure you can quite easily imagine I'm turning the tone pot around. Let's pop that back on. Oh, I know. No, it's not. Must be another one that way. No, it's more like it. That one's thrown us off because that's further that way. Right. I'm going to sort that. Silly little things. There we go. Now all the tens point in the same direction. Right. Spray time. So I'm going to get a spray. Definitely a cloth. I'm going to get into every pot. Spin them. Give them a good spinning around. Kylie would be proud. do for those two. Listen, that's them doing their magic. You can soak it in there, because we're going to drop it out and then blow it out. And this all evaporates really quickly once it's not pulled. That's loose as well. In fact, not two of them are loose. All the rest of them are loose. Okay, I'm going to have to take all the pots. The caps off the pots anyway. Right, we'll give her a little tip over to literally just drop out a couple of drips. And then if you've never seen Dude, Where's My Car, don't ask. Stinks. Oh, I forgot to move you. You missed all that. Oh, that was some fun action as well. It's dry in there now anyway. So let's get the back plate back on. What I'd like to do actually, flick the amp on. If I'm being a good boy, if I'm being sensible, is that tight enough as well? No, check that. Let's just make sure that it's tight enough. Ooh, that's not spinning either, that's just tightening up. Right, I want to put the jack in while I put the back on, just to make sure that as you compress the wires and stuff, nothing changes, because you'd be surprised at how often that can push something into something else, can push a bundle of wires down onto a pot, which pushes down on a wire that's trapped under it, which can PS its bloody harness a little bit or something, or push the lug of the pot down into the conductive paint or whatever. Many things can cause it, and it can be a bloody nightmare, because you take the back off and then go to fix it and you're like, well, it works. I fixed it somehow, and then you put the back on, and I broke it again. And of course, after a few times round, you do eventually come to the conclusion that it's the back, but like, it's not fun. I think we're good. I think we are good. Let's give you a continuous test shot. Whee! Oh, that's going well, isn't it? You know, I didn't put the other end of this strap on because the pin was loose, but the first thing I did when I got this guitar in here was tighten that pin up. So that's easier, isn't it? Oh, it's not easy to play at that angle, bear with me. I think this is good. Grand. That's problem solved. Job done. Now, extras wise, we'll give it a little clean up for her now. Because she's quite dirty. She needs a little TLC. It doesn't show very well on the camera. That will. So yeah, we'll give that a clean. Give a little scrub it up. Brush off the majority of that dust. I'm going to turn that lamp off as well because that's no longer required. Oh, that's quite dusty. Oh, Paddlers really wants to do this full install. Polish it, but it's got quite a nice patina to it, and you might like that. I'll give it a little polish, but I'm not going to bring the cotton compound out or anything on it. I want a cloth, please. Thank you, sir. I want that cloth. Yeah, probably.
A little bit of moisture. Makes all the difference.
Oh, I'm going to end up giving this a proper clean, aren't I? I might as well. It's starting to shine up nice. Let's get some compound on it. Constantly trying to change the angle of the cloth as well. Move the contact patch around a little bit, it helps spread the liquid, and it also makes sure that it doesn't heat up too much, because you can generate quite a lot of heat with the friction of polishing with this stuff. It isn't abrasive at the end of the day, it's the same stuff as sandpaper or toothpaste or something, or teakwood, but it's way better. This is professional grade stuff. Stuff that teakwood wouldn't touch, this will destroy. But that's why teakwood's nice, because it cuts through the dirt. Like literally sands it away. It's got little abrasive particles in it. It really does make cleaning up a very, very heavily patinaed guitar a lot easier, like. Man, I want some music. Is there nothing that I can listen to that means YouTube won't tell me off for? If there's anyone got any suggestions, feel free. I mean, I can put something in pause, but I want something to listen to, you know what I mean? God, that's a stubborn bit. Unless these pickups really wants it doing. Not in between the pickups, I mean under the strings. I just got a horrific flashback there. When I twanged one of them strings, it made the exact same tone as the start of a TMU advert, and my blood just ran cold. Dinga 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 dinga. Nah. None of that round here, like. No. Let's not get carried away with it. This is all bonus stuff, so. Right. Ah. Key scratch got a little gone as well. Make it shine a bit. Look at that. Bloody beautiful. Beautiful, I say. Right under there. This is the most satisfying part of this job by far. Love this. Watching something polish up. It's beautiful. It's nicer on like a full resto setup when I'm actually restoring the paint properly and stuff, you know. When I can get it mirror like. And the ones I prefer are the ones that come in worst, to be honest. Like, if someone brings me a custom shop Fender Strat or like a $5,000 Les Paul or something, you know, like a standard these days costs. Like, I can make it better no matter what state it's in. I can generally make it a little better, but there's a limit to it because it's already alright. You know what I mean? Whereas when someone brings me something that's pretty much knackered, it's had its day, and it's screaming out for me love, I love that because the guitar that you get in is very different to the guitar that you give back, and that's the most rewarding part of the job, to be honest. It's giving someone their instrument back and going, look, have a shot of that now. And they go, whoa, that's way better than it was, like a new guitar. Yeah, not better. I've always liked that, that's why I got into this. So yeah, there's a limit to how much you can obviously help with a nice guitar anyway. If something's perfectly set up or almost perfectly set up and it's pristine clean and there's no issues with it, you know what I mean? I can make it play a little better. But it doesn't tickle me pickle quite right, quite the same. I've always had a bit of soft spot for cheaper guitars and instruments in general though. I kind of believe that they should be used, and if your guitar's worth more than your car, you're not going to want to use it in the same way. You're going to be reticent to take it places and leave it places, and if your instrument doesn't come with you, your instrument doesn't get played. I know there's plenty of people who've got very expensive guitars and take them out all the time, which is fair enough. do as you please, but me personally, I'd rather something that's worth 200 quid. Because they play nicely, man, as long as you get some smart arse like me to have a look over it and do a decent job of a setup on it, then even the cheapest guitars these days, there's nothing wrong with them, man. The QC's come so far in the last God knows how many years since I got into this, especially. I want to do that properly, but I can't do a proper job on it because I'll have to take the strings off to do that. So I'm just going to get rid of the rust. Oh, I hope not. Get rid of the dust. Dust with a D. I should probably move you for this, shouldn't I? I'm nearly done now anyway. You can see from there, right? Oh, you can totally see from there. Fine. Well, that shut you up. It's really hard to get a decent camera angle. It would really do with the camera being about 6 foot that way behind the workbench, to be honest, and looking at me from the other direction. But we can't always have what we want, can we? Yeah, right under there. There we go. I wish I'd never mentioned that TMU advert now because I've got the bloody song stuck in my head. Grand. Lovely jubbly. There we go. She's all sorted. She's all shiny. And she works properly. And all the 10s point in the same direction. More importantly than everything else, of course. Sorted. Okay, I wasn't going to bother filming this, but I went to put the guitar away and I remembered that those 3 pots were loose, weren't they? So I just went to tighten them up before I put it away. And I've never seen this as bad as this. But the nuts were so corroded that even just a little nip up, and they were loose to start with, just a little nip up, has absolutely obliterated 2 of the 3. And I can't believe it. I've never seen anything like that. Look. Look at that. Mental. Thankfully, I have a big pot of replacements somewhere. So I'll pop one of these bad boys on. But yeah, man, that's unreal. Never seen anything like that before. Fresh shit. That's better. I was going to do this one as well. Oh, I'm going to show you actually, because you're not going to believe me, are you? I'm going to do this one as well, but it's not. It's been replaced. It's already been replaced, that one. The others smashed off as I took them off. Totally knackered. I might get a macro lens and have a look at them.